What's the hardest part after someone you love dies? It's not the funeral, not the legal paperwork, not even the silence in the hallway where their voice used to be. No, it's waking up the next morning and realizing the world kept going without them. The pillow next to you is cold. The routine feels broken. And worst of all, everyone else seems to have moved on while you're still standing in the ruins. Loss doesn't just take a person. It takes your sense of time. It shakes your identity. It changes the shape of the air in your home. And in that quiet, heavy moment, you're left with a question no one prepared you for. How do I live now? If you're watching this, maybe you've just lost someone. Or maybe it's been months, even years, and the ache still whispers through your days. This video isn't here to fix you. There are no magic words, no timeline for grief, but there is a way forward. Together we'll walk through 7 gentle, powerful steps to help you heal. Not just survive, but slowly, carefully, live again. Because you don't have to do this alone, and you don't have to pretend to be okay. Let's begin, right here, right now. Step 1. Pause to feel. Give yourself permission to grieve. Feel to heal. Grief is not something to fix. It's something to feel. When you lose someone you love, deeply, completely, the world expects you to be strong, to carry on, to function. But the truth is, pretending you're okay doesn't heal your heart. It only buries the pain deeper. Let me tell you about Helen. She's 79. After losing her husband of 52 years, she didn't cry. Not at the funeral, not during the quiet nights, not even when she walked past his favorite chair every morning. She told herself, I have to be strong. That's what he would want. But 2 weeks later, while folding one of his old sweaters, something broke inside her, and she wept and wept. And that night, for the first time since he passed, she slept. That was the moment Helen truly began to live again, not by being strong, but by finally allowing herself to feel. Because here's the truth. You can't survive loss by pretending it didn't happen. If you're watching this right now and you're holding everything inside, please hear this. There is no shame in crying. There is no weakness in sadness. Grief is the price we pay for love, and feeling that pain is the first real step toward healing. You don't have to fix anything today. You don't have to smile. You just have to stop, breathe, and feel. Let yourself grieve in your own time, in your own way. Now, I'd love to ask you something. What helped you feel your emotions after a deep loss? Was there a moment, like Helen's, that helped you begin again? Please share in the comments below. You never know who might need your words today. Let's take this step together. One breath, one feeling, one gentle beginning at a time. Step 2. Reach out before loneliness sets in. Don't wait to connect. Grief doesn't just hurt your heart. It isolates it. After loss, the silence grows louder. The house feels bigger. The nights feel longer. And before you even realize it, loneliness begins to take root. Not the kind that comes and goes, but the kind that lingers, drains, and pulls you deeper into yourself. But you don't have to let it. You don't have to wait until you feel better to reach out. In fact, it's better if you don't wait at all. Take Bob, for example. He's 72. He lost his wife 2 years ago, and from the very first week, he made himself a promise. 1 phone call a day. That's it. Sometimes it was a neighbor. Sometimes an old army buddy. Sometimes just his niece. He didn't always feel like talking, but he always felt better after he did. And that simple act, it helped him avoid the depression he feared would swallow him whole. Because loneliness after loss isn't just hard, it's dangerous. It creeps in quietly, convincing you that you're forgotten, that no one cares, that you're supposed to handle this alone. But you're not. Even one message, just one, can remind you you still matter. Call a friend, text your sister, join a local grief support group, visit the church luncheon you always said you'd try. You don't need to tell your whole story. You don't even need to talk about the loss. You just need to let someone in. So let me ask you, is there someone you've been meaning to reach out to, but haven't yet? What's one small connection that helped you during a hard time? Your story might be the reason someone else picks up the phone today. Remember, grief may be personal, but healing is never meant to be done alone. Let's take this step together before the silence has a chance to grow. Step 3. Small acts of care. Begin with the body. Soft morning light filters into the room again. This time it catches a slow-moving figure in the mirror, brushing their hair. The steam from a warm cup of tea rises nearby. Nothing grand, nothing loud. Just quiet, deliberate care. When the weight of grief sits heavy on your chest, even the smallest acts can feel impossible. Taking a shower, brushing your teeth, choosing clothes for the day. These once simple things now feel like climbing uphill with no end in sight. And yet it is in these very acts, however small, that the healing process quietly begins. You don't have to fix everything at once. You don't need to wake up energized, cook a perfect meal, or clean the entire house. But your body, even in sorrow, still longs for care. And it deserves it. Start with one thing. Sit up in bed, put your feet on the floor, drink a glass of water, get dressed, even if you're not going anywhere. These are not chores. These are reminders that you are still here, that your presence in the world still matters. Science tells us that grief has a physical impact. It disrupts your sleep, appetite, immune system, and energy levels. But the reverse is also true. Small physical actions can slowly shift how you feel emotionally. A walk outside can lower your stress hormones. A warm meal can calm your nervous system. Restorative sleep helps your brain process loss and stabilize mood. That's why choosing to care for your body isn't shallow. It's sacred. It's not about pretending you're okay. It's about creating a space inside yourself where healing can begin to grow. One breath at a time, one meal at a time, one night of sleep at a time. Helen, who we met earlier, said that the first time she brushed her hair and made her favorite soup after losing her husband, she didn't feel strong. She felt human again, and that was enough. You don't have to pretend to be strong. You are, in your own quiet way, rebuilding strength bit by bit with every small act of care you offer yourself. A body that is fed, clothed, and gently moved becomes a vessel sturdy enough to carry the pain and eventually the hope. So as we move forward, ask yourself this: what's one small thing I can do for my body today? Maybe it's as simple as changing into a fresh shirt, stepping outside for 5 minutes, or choosing nourishing food over skipping a meal. Let that be enough, because it is. And when you're ready, we'll take the next step. Together. Step 4. Avoid rushed decisions. Delay the drastic. The ache of grief has a way of clouding everything: your thoughts, your memory, even your sense of time. In the days and weeks after a deep loss, it's common to feel the urge to do something, anything, to escape the pain. To pack up the house, give things away, change your environment, make big decisions just to feel like you're moving forward. But grief has its own rhythm, and it doesn't rush. Neither should you. When Richard lost his wife, he felt like the walls of their home were closing in. Every room held a memory. Every photo a reminder. Just 2 weeks later, he sold the house. He thought he couldn't bear the silence, couldn't stand the stillness, but months later, he admitted that the decision brought him more pain than peace. What he really needed wasn't a new place, it was time. This is not about judgment, it's about permission. You are allowed to wait. You are allowed to press pause. You are allowed to let your heart catch up to what just happened. Psychologists often advise waiting at least 6 months to a year before making major life changes after a significant loss. Why? Because our brain, when flooded with grief, enters a fog. It struggles to think clearly, to evaluate long-term consequences. What feels urgent today might look completely different once the haze begins to lift. So if you're wondering whether to sell the house, move cities, quit your job, or give away belongings, give it time. Let yourself breathe. Sit with the familiar, even if it hurts. Sometimes the things that hurt the most are the very things anchoring us to who we are. You don't need to fix everything right now. Grief is not a crisis to be solved. It's a passage to be honored. Ask yourself, am I making this decision because it's truly right, or because I want to escape the pain? And if the answer isn't clear, it's okay to wait. Clarity doesn't come from rushing. It comes from stillness. If you're feeling pressure to make changes, try this instead. Write your thoughts down. Make a list of and if you've already made a decision you regret, like Richard, know this: healing is still possible. Mistakes don't mean you failed. They mean you were doing your best with a heart that was broken. Be gentle. Right now, the greatest strength you can show isn't in bold moves, but in the courage to wait, to breathe, to feel, and to trust that not every question needs an answer today. Stay with me. The next step may surprise you, but it just might bring a little light back in. Step 5. Sort the necessary. A gentle start to organizing finances and paperwork. It may feel cold or even heartless at first, sitting down to sort through paperwork when your heart is still broken. How can you think about insurance policies or bank accounts when you're just trying to make it through the day? But here's the truth. Taking care of the necessary details isn't just about documents. It's about honoring the life your loved one built with you. It's about protecting the home, the memories, and the legacy they left behind. Grief may slow you down, but the paperwork doesn't stop. Bills still come. Accounts still need to be updated. Decisions still need to be made. And while that can feel overwhelming, you don't have to do it alone, and you don't have to do it all at once. Start small. Start simple. One of the most helpful things you can do is prepare a single place for it all: a shoebox, a folder, a notebook. Call it your peace of mind box. Inside, place every important document you come across: insurance policies, social security details, bank statements, the will, passwords, contacts for legal or financial help. You don't need to organize it all in one sitting. Just begin. Helen, who lost her husband after 52 years together, said this: "I couldn't read anything without crying, but each paper I touched reminded me of the life we built. I realized this isn't just paperwork, this is his story, and I'm still the keeper of it." If it feels too hard to face alone, ask someone you trust to sit with you: a sibling, a grown child, a close friend, someone who can help you read through forms, make a checklist, or even just bring a cup of tea while you do the hard part. And remember, there's no shame in asking for professional help. Financial advisors, estate planners, grief counselors, they exist for moments exactly like this. You're not expected to know everything. You're expected to care. That's enough. This isn't just about settling matters. It's about creating order in the chaos, about giving yourself a sense of control when everything else feels out of your hands, about honoring the one you lost by protecting what they left in your care. So ask yourself, what's one small thing I can do today? Maybe it's opening the mail. Maybe it's making a phone call. Maybe it's simply writing down your questions so you don't forget. That's enough. That's a start. And when it gets hard, remind yourself, you're not just doing paperwork. You're building a bridge between your love and your future. A bridge that says your life mattered, and I will carry that forward. Now take a breath. You're doing more than you think, and we're not done yet. There's one last step that gently leads us toward hope. Stay with me. Step 6, rebuild your rhythm. Becoming you again. There comes a quiet moment, maybe weeks, maybe months after loss, when the house is still, the visitors have stopped coming, and the days begin to blur. It's then that you start to realize something difficult and deeply personal. You're no longer someone's husband, someone's wife. The identity that once wrapped around your every morning, every plan, every memory, is no longer the same. And that truth can feel both heartbreaking and strangely empty. But here's another truth. You are still here. You are still you. And though you may not recognize yourself just yet, you are allowed to begin again. Not to forget, not to erase, but to rediscover who you are now, in this new chapter. Sylvia, an 83-year-old widow, spent the first month after her husband passed sitting in silence, unsure what life looked like without him. Then one morning, she signed up for a gentle yoga class at the community center. At first, she said, "I didn't know what I was doing there, but after 3 months, I remembered how it felt to move, to breathe, to feel alive again." That's what rebuilding your rhythm is all about. Not rushing into a brand new life, but quietly, courageously, picking up the pieces and learning who you are now that everything has changed. Maybe it starts with a short walk each morning. Maybe it's joining a painting class or taking a trip by yourself to a place you and your loved one always talked about visiting. Maybe it's volunteering, gardening, picking up a book, learning a new language, or simply getting dressed for the day, just for you. These are not distractions. These are not ways to move on. These are ways to reconnect with yourself, with the world, and with the quiet pulse of life that still beats within you. It's okay to feel guilty for smiling again. It's okay to feel unsure about trying something new. Just know this, your story isn't over, and you don't have to apologize for continuing to live it. So let me ask you gently, what is something, no matter how small, that you've always wanted to try? Is there a class you've passed by, a place you've dreamed of, a hobby you once loved but set aside? Write it down, speak it aloud, and if your heart aches while doing it, that's okay. That ache is the echo of love. It means you're still deeply alive. You're not replacing the past. You're honoring it by living fully, bravely, and beautifully in the present. Let this be your quiet beginning. And before we end, I want to share something more. A message to every heart still healing, every hand still trembling, every soul wondering if joy will ever return. Stay with me for just one more moment. Step 7. Redefine your meaning. Planting new purpose in the space lost left behind. When someone you love deeply is gone, they don't just leave a silence behind, they leave a space. And that space at first feels unbearable, like a hole torn through the fabric of your days. You wake up and they aren't there. You reach for them in small moments. You think, who am I now without them? But slowly, quietly, that space becomes something else. A question, an invitation, a chance to ask, what now? What do I want to do with the time I have left? You are not the same person you were before. Loss changes us. It carves us open in ways we never expected. But within that ache, there is room. Room to grow. Room to build. Room to redefine what life means for you now. Take a breath and ask yourself gently, what am I still here to do? What legacy do I want to leave behind? What stories, what wisdom, what love is still inside me, waiting to be shared? Mr. Thomas, 76, found himself lost after his wife passed. For months, he wandered through his days unsure of what he was living for. Then one afternoon, he began writing letters to his grandchildren. One for each birthday he might not be around to celebrate. What started as a small act turned into a journal filled with life lessons, stories, and memories. It gave me a reason to wake up, he said, and it made me feel close to her again. Your new meaning doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to change the world. It just has to matter to you. Maybe it's sharing your experiences with younger generations. Maybe it's volunteering once a week. Maybe it's writing down your story so that someone else someday might feel a little less alone. Maybe it's nurturing a garden, taking care of a pet, or helping a neighbor with groceries. These small things carry great weight. Purpose doesn't mean productivity. It means presence. It means choosing to be here, even on the hardest days, and deciding that your life, yes, your life, is still full of meaning. You are not betraying your loved one by continuing forward. You are honoring them by not wasting the time you still have. So let me ask you this. If you had one thing left to give to the world, one gift, one piece of yourself, what would it be? Write it down. Sit with it. Let that question guide you, not with pressure, but with quiet possibility. This is not the end of your story. It's a new chapter, written with the ink of everything you've lived through. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to grow. You are allowed to carry love into a new season of your life. And if you're not sure how to begin, just start small. A word, a smile, a memory passed on, a hand held. This is how we live again, not by forgetting who we've lost, but by choosing to live in a way that would make them proud. And if you found this video comforting, or you know someone who might need these words, I invite you to share it with them. Leave a comment below. What does your new beginning look like? We're here, we're listening, and we walk this road with you. If you've stayed with us until now, thank you. It means you're holding space for healing, not just for yourself, but maybe for someone you love. Let's take one quiet moment to gently recall the 7 steps we've shared. First, give yourself permission to feel. Pain isn't something to rush through, it's something to honor. Second, reach out before the loneliness settles in. A single call can be a lifeline. Third, care for your body in small ways. Eat, sleep, get dressed. These are not just routines, they're acts of resilience. Fourth, delay any big decisions. You deserve time to think clearly without the fog of grief. Fifth, sort the necessary things. One paper, one task at a time. It's not just about documents, it's about protecting what matters. Sixth, rebuild your rhythm. Try something new, something just for you. Life is still waiting. And finally, redefine your meaning. The space lost leaves can be a place where something new grows. These steps won't take the pain away, but they will give you gentle ways to carry it, and eventually to rise again. Please remember this, you are not alone, and you deserve to live forward with peace, with purpose, and with love still in your heart. If any part of this journey touched you, I invite you to share it. Maybe there's someone who needs these words as much as you did. And if one of the 7 steps spoke to your heart, drop the number in the comments below. Let others know they're not the only ones walking this road. We're building a quiet little circle of comfort right here, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. So if this video helped you, even just a little, please consider liking it, sharing it, subscribing to the channel, and turning on the bell so you won't miss what comes next. Your healing matters, your story matters, and we're here, walking with you.